Hey there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Two Guys, One Crypt. I'm one of your hosts, JB, here with my co-host, Chuck Nasty. How's it going, buddy?
It's going, man. It's going. I got my nose. I'm doing good.
Right. I got my coffee energy drink. I
There we
feel
go.
you.
See? We're doing all right. We're doing all right this afternoon.
Yes, it's different doing an afternoon episode. We don't do too many.
No. Every now and then.
No, but we accommodate. We have to this week, especially, don't we, man?
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Right. So do you want to go ahead and introduce our special guest for this episode?
Yes.
He's just like, I'm going to think about this for a minute. Do I really? No.
Ladies Fright, right?
Yeah, Ladies Fright Podcast. And,
That's right. Okay. Sorry. Brain fart completely. No
Right.
disrespect. I told you it's been a weird last 24 hours, man.
Well, you're good, man. So we actually have Lauren, Jackie, and Maggie from the Ladies Fright Podcast. So hi, girls. Thank you so much for coming on here. It's a fun time for sure. You guys got really lucky. Usually on the show, we decide to go with like really bad movies. Let's
Really bad movies.
Yeah, like the kind where like we started off having a counter to see if you even finished it. So like but for Halloween we're like, you know what, fuck it, we really got to do some classics in here, have some fun with it. We want to enjoy our show too, you know what I mean? Like if we watch too many bad movies, we just want to blow our fucking brains out. But it is what it is.
Sometimes I like watching bad movies.
Right. So anyways, before we get started and talk a little bit about the actual movie that we're going to be talking about today, why don't we go ahead and chat with you guys a little bit about what you guys do? So I'm not sure who wants to lead that off between you three, but feel free.
Oh, I think you're just pointing at me.
We volunteered, Maggie.
Fair enough.
So we host a podcast called Ladies Fright. We discuss all spooky, spoopy, scary topics, but we try to go in and figure out why they're exactly scary to us. So we'll use personal anecdote, sociology, psychology, anthropology, as well as comedy, or what we consider comedy. We think we're real funny.
We think we're so funny.
So funny.
Yeah, we make jokes because we can't take anything seriously.
So you already sound a lot smarter than us. So
It's a
we
real-
usually go like halfway through a movie and we're just like, yo, fuck this shit. So what's going on with your guys' show as of lately? I know October's coming up, so obviously that has to be a special month for you guys. Girls, sorry.
Guys, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're not offended.
And
Ladies.
Ladies.
Right. Ladies would make
delicate
sense.
flowers.
So for
Yeah.
Halloween, we do have something very special going on.
I'm really
We're
excited.
actually, we're going to throw a party. We're going to have a Halloween party. We have a bunch of guests line up to come and join our party. Some you've probably heard on other paranormal horror podcasts. And some are just people we found in the hallway.
Wink.
That's a weird place to find podcasters.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
There will be plenty of pigs in a blanket.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Lots of cocktail wings.
Awesome. I
Cheese
kind of
cubes.
feel like shit that I'm not invited. I really like pigs on a blanket.
Maybe next year.
Definitely next year. Definitely next year.
I'm just doing the shit anyway. Well, that's awesome. It really is. I've got the chance to actually go back and check out quite well, not like a huge amount, because like honestly we just recently met and everything, but I have been back and checked out quite a few of your episodes. It wasn't in the hallway. It should have been in the hallway. Damn it. But I will say that I did check out like your Camp Slashers episode, and I'm a huge Sleepaway Camp fan, so that was a really cool episode. I like how you start off spoiling the fuck out of that movie.
We can't help ourselves. We have no chill.
Yeah, like, listen, it came out, what was it, the 80s? It came out in the 80s. Like,
Right.
if you haven't seen it by now, like, too bad.
No problem.
You've had plenty of time.
Fair enough. I'm still surprising people with the ending of it today, though. So
It's a good one.
Yeah.
it truly is. So why don't we go ahead and I guess before we start into the movie, actually, just so everybody who's actually watching right now knows, if you go and look at the bottom of the screen right now and check out the banner, those are all the links to go check out the Ladies Fright Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And since we got that out of the way, Chuck, why don't you go ahead and start discussing this movie that you decided to pick out for this week?
All right. So I decided to watch this movie out of pretty much introducing my son to this movie, because this movie means the world to me. Growing up, it was better than the Goonies. Monster Squad. Very, very much like the Goonies. Group of kids are on an adventure, except in this one, they're trying to stop Dracula from taking over the world. You got all the classics. You got Dracula, you got the Gill Man, you got the Mummy, you got the Wolfman, and you got Frankenstein's monster, which in this he's just known as Frankie. And it's you see, okay, you said it was a family horror film when you posted about that we were gonna do the show. And it does have a family element, but there's some stuff in this that like it really isn't. But there's so many great parts. It is.
I got a 4-year-old that's obsessed with it. This is as family friendly as my house gets.
Well, I guess these days it would be considered family friendly. I mean, you know, but I mean,
you know, like if we were to rate it, is it PG-13?
Yeah.
I would give this a PG rating nowadays.
Yeah. Really?
These days,
like,
yeah.
But like realistically, like when you think about it, there's like no nudity. Like I guess like let's say nards, and then like you know when they're talking about his dork, like but like they're very PG with it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they said his cock or anything. It's not like they implied anything with the 4-year-old virgin girl. Like they made it very, very clear what it was. It was cut and dry, and there wasn't anything bad really to it. Yeah. I'm sure if it was remade, there would probably add a lot of bad to it, though.
This was a film.
Yeah. I guess in 80s standards, it's probably pretty tame.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then when you compare it to today, like, like Coraline was scarier.
I've never seen Coraline.
That's a pretty creepy fucking cartoon, anime, whatever the fuck
next week.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you guys definitely have to watch that one.
my son was actually talking about the other night.
We'll fix it.
Yeah. I haven't seen Jaws either. I've been busy. Really?
I strongly suggest starting off with Jaws 3D and working back.
Okay.
You'll thank me for it later. That's what most people suggest. That's why I go out of the box. Like, no, start with 3D, because then you're going to be like, oh, well, these are going to get worse and worse and worse. No, they just get better and better. And it's really, really cool watching them like that.
Okay.
All right. So why don't you go ahead, Chuck, and continue on.
Okay. So the great thing about this movie is when I was introduced to it, I was raised on, when American Movie Classics used to actually have movie classics on. Every Saturday morning, Saturday night, something like that, my dad would tape Dracula and Wolfman, all this stuff off there for me to watch. And I really sunk my teeth into it, no pun intended. And I discovered Monster Squad, and I'm not really sure how. I think my dad might have saw that it was going to be on HBO or something, and he taped it. And for the longest time, that was the only movie I would watch. I would come home from school for wherever I was at, and I would pop that in immediately. And I watched it so much that my mom actually made my dad tape over it. She said that it was too violent for me, and I was too much of an active kid, and it was going to be very impressionable on me. But that's for a totally different episode, like Dr. Phil. But I love this fucking movie. There's I mean, the characters are great. I mean, you have all the kids and stuff, of course. I mean, especially like, you know, fat kid Horace. Who has, you know, rest in peace.
So cute.
But he has one of my favorite scenes in that movie, though. You know, my name is Horace.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yes, but But it's also, I also hate to say it. But Rudy, the badass on the bicycle who smokes cigarettes, there he is. He was actually a bad influence on me growing up because the first time I smoked a cigarette was because of Rudy. No joke.
He personally came to your house and peer pressured you.
Those PSAs warned me about.
Well, in the 80s, it was cool to smoke. He was in junior high too, so they were kind of like promoting smoking between like what ages, like 12 and 14.
Something like that.
It wouldn't arguably at your stupidest.
Yeah, sure. It wouldn't fly these days. Not one bit. Which I'm glad. This movie was not really. It's fucked up how much of a cult following this film has now. Because when it came out, it kind of flopped. It really wasn't.
Kind of?
Yeah.
Well, None of us had heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The budget was roughly $12 million, according to IMDb. And the gross was under $4 million.
Oh.
It was more than a flop. It really was.
But
like,
when you
especially
watch
with people like Fred Decker and Shane Black behind it, it's kind of crazy that it flopped.
Oh, well, another reason why there's so many reasons why I love this fucking movie. Like honestly, but the father, the cop, I love the fact that that's played by, I can't remember his fucking name though, but he was in one of my other favorite movies, Graveyard Shift, and he played really shitty
Stephen
boss.
Macht.
Yeah.
Or Steven. I'm really bad with the PHs.
Yeah. But he it's kind of cool how like, the dad at first is like, you kids just need to stay out of like trouble and all this stuff. And then like the mummy disappears from the museum. And then, there's a guy. Yeah. Mummy's in my room. Yeah. He's like, oh, big scary monster.
Did not give a shit. No.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
a little bit.
That would have been
at least looked in the closet.
Yeah, right? Be a little concerned. No? You're fine? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a kid. You can make new ones.
Yeah.
Which, well, the beginning of the film when Dracula first gets dropped off, it takes place in a plane. And the two guys bannering in the front is actually kind of funny. I don't know why that's funny to me, but for some reason it was. But how the guy is like, he's like, I'm going to go back and check in the back because I keep hearing things. He's kind of getting spooked. And he goes back there and Dracula's just standing there as the thing opens up. And it's like, wow. And then he turns into a bat and flies off. And then the casket falls. And then, then you end up meeting the kids.
My favorite part of that scene with Dracula, it's when he just punches him in the face.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not a Dracula move.
No.
It's really not.
There's a
bunch of people.
Dracula's a dick.
Yeah.
Dracula's a huge dick.
It's like you're not even worth me using any of my paranormal powers. So I'm just gonna punch you in the face.
Come down to your level.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you always think of Dracula as like the suave, like he's always got some kind of demeanor that he can suck people into what he's saying or whatever. And this one, he really is just an asshole. I mean, he grabs the little girl, give me the amulet, you little bitch. I mean, who says that?
Told a 5-year-old a bitch. But enough time to realize whether or not you're a bitch. Right?
I think you would be surprised how many people call a 5-year-old a bitch. I'm just going to throw that out there.
But like, to her face?
They may be a little bit more secretive about it, but everybody's had it in their head at some point walking past a 5-year-old like, oh, that little bitch.
Throwing a bitch. God, what a bitch.
Look at him crying. He didn't get a toy he wanted. Like, a little bitch.
What are you even crying about?
Anybody who's been to a grocery store has seen that.
Yes.
This is true. This is very true.
Yeah, we're getting a little off topic, so why don't you go ahead and get back to it, buddy?
We're really good at that.
We are.
No, I just, God, man, I think that the special effects in this were actually pretty cool. I love the Wolfman in this. I do, where his transformation and everything. It's kind of cheesy because he just goes from being like a regular person to an animal real quick, But like the part where he calls the dad, the detective, and he's like, I need you to, I'm changing, blah, blah. And he's like, he's going to kill your son. like he's all slobbered and shit, and then like he breaks out of like the phone booth and like runs off, and you're like, yes, that is how I want my Wolfman to be.
Yeah.
Like something out of a Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah.
I didn't
I-
mind the transformation.
I
like
have
that.
to say, I was really impressed with the makeup. Like the Gill Man looks amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Mummy looks amazing too. Like 10 out of 10 on those makeup designers and makeup technicians.
Right. Dracula
anybody
probably
else-
had the least amount of work done. Like,
Did anybody else feel bad for Mummy the whole movie? No
You
one
really
cared
did
about
get the
Mummy.
shit
Always
end at the-
overshadowed.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't, you know, he was the only one that didn't really have some kind of, well, I mean, of course, you know, Frankie wasn't really a bad guy, but
well, they do
But
that
he-
in every movie with him. You know what I mean? Like, he's never really the bad guy. They always, even though he's like the only one really without a heart, they give him one.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, he's such
Yeah.
a wholesome guy.
yeah.
Bogus.
Yeah.
Right.
Bogus.
Like,
Bogus.
like, dude, they even do the same thing in the Alvin and the Chipmunks meet Frankenstein.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Like-
a children's movie, so.
I got young kids, obviously.
Mhm.
Before we drop our theory about Frankenstein Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
yes.
Let's hear your guys' theory.
Okay.
So, based on the chemistry between Dracula and Frankenstein, we believe Frankenstein's monster was brought back for sexual reasons for Dracula.
They're
Like,
definitely lovers.
yeah,
I could see this, especially if they had Frankenstein and like Dracula dead and loving it.
Look at Chuck's
Chuck-
face.
Chuck-
He's mad about
Chuck-
it. He's so mad.
affected him.
So when
The
they
gentle
first-
hand he reached out and the
Yeah.
longingness in the eyes. Dracula wanted him.
Yeah.
Wanted him.
I could definitely see that. Like this right here, this look. He's just staring deep right into Frankie's heart. He's like, oh god. Well, I guess like he does have a mouth like a blow up doll.
Shut up. Mouth like a blow up doll. Jesus Christ, man, he's dead.
No,
Have some respect.
I'm just curious. Now, would that mean that Dracula's into necrophilia?
No, because
No, he's dead.
Frankie's reanimated. He's
Yeah.
alive.
But he's undead still. Like,
So is Dracula.
Yeah, so is Dracula.
oh god, how do you even? Are you sure? Like, how does that
Okay.
work?
Oh, wait.
So they're both into necrophilia.
But it's
Dra-
okay because they're both undead, so it's not unethical.
Well, hold on now. Dracula
Okay.
would be
Okay.
We're trying to justify necrophilia now.
That's a totally different show, also for Dr. Phil.
I would love to be on that one.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah. We get into interesting subjects. No, I would see Dracula being the undead one. Frankenstein's monster is more of just a reanimated zombie, or that fucking. He's reanimated. He's just reanimated. I wouldn't call him undead because it takes some kind of electrical shock to bring him up, I guess. So he has to
There's
keep
so
being
many different
reanimated.
Parts of him too. So like, wouldn't every time Dracula did Frankenstein, it would technically be an orgy?
I guess technically, yeah. Yeah.
Nice,
but, like,
JB. Nice.
if Dracula can't die because he's immortal, then isn't Frankenstein essentially just like come back from a coma?
That's kind of my question. So let's say someone flatlines, use the AED, you bring them back, you restart their heart. Are they undead? Because if not, then Frankenstein is not
What?
undead.
If that's the case, then
Well-
Nikki Sixx is walking around like undead.
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly. So
That
if you
bastard.
Definitely.
If you fuck Nikki Sixx, that's necrophilia.
So, are you implying that we should shoot Nikki Sixx in the head to get rid of that zombie?
Yes,
Has he
twice.
been anyone? Have you guys had any trouble? He hasn't put out music since what, 2006? Right? He's fine.
I think the last thing I seen him do was like a paranormal talk show on the radio.
It's like, dude, you're like 60. Fucking get rid of the 80s haircut.
No, the 80s haircut will never die.
Oh god, it needs to. It really maybe just because I'm jealous. I don't know. But
There's too much hairspray in it.
Every haircut's a tough topic for Chuck.
I gotta say, we got off topic completely on that, and now I'm all. Now I can't watch this movie the same. See you guys.
I'm sorry I ruined your childhood.
We have master's degrees in going off the rails.
Oh, so do we. So do we. I never even. I guess can we get off this topic because it's gonna fuck my head up.
Yes, we can move on.
Thank you for giving us
Which
the
topic do
platform
you want to get off of? Just curious.
What?
The necrophiliac, Frankenstein and Dracula fucking each other. That just.
Yeah. Cool.
I actually really like that theory, and
it's an interesting one.
I can't really argue it because he really does have this infatuation with the Frankenstein monster, like the entire first part of the movie. So it's very believable. I could really see where you're all coming from on that for sure. Like I get it.
Frankenstein was the only one that Dracula released from the casket, and then Frankie reaches out, Master. That's
right. So they have like some kind of sub-dom BDSM thing going on too.
100%.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
if Anne Rice or Poppy Z. Bright wrote this, I would totally see that being a thing.
Absolutely.
No, but Fred Decker did. It was Shane Black, so it's just really implied.
Subtle kind of.
Right, for sure. So Chuck, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this?
Okay, well, like I said, the kids have a squad called the Monster Squad. Or a club that they decided to call it the Monster Squad. But that's not really a thing till the end, though, is it? I thought
that was just like what they called their friend group.
The Monster Club. It's their Monster Club or whatever.
Yeah. It wasn't the Monster Squad till just that last couple of seconds there.
Yeah. What do y'all call yourselves? Yeah.
I know it was because we all screamed. They said the name of the movie.
Well, these kids, they're, actually one thing is there was Sean, the main kid, the leader of the crew, is wearing a Stephen King Rules t-shirt, which I love. And when I met Matthew Lillard, he was actually wearing a Wes Craven version of that. And
cool.
I actually told him, I was like, I'm pretty sure you got it wrong right there. And he's like, no, I don't think I do.
No, just curious. When you all right. I was gonna say, when you met Matthew Lillard, what did you talk to him about? Like, I hope it was only about Scooby-Doo and nothing else.
Oh no, we talked about SLC Punk. He was really drunk. He took selfies with my mom over and over again the night before at the Scarefest party. And it's kind of funny. Cool. But anyway, so Sean and one of the other guys, I can't remember the other, like the vice president of the Monster Club. They get in trouble at school for drawing pictures of weird monsters and stuff, which as a kid, I can relate. I got in trouble. I was banned from drawing in my first and second grade class. Aww. Because, I was in first and second grade and I was drawing stuff worse than what they were drawing. So,
like, you were just a really bad drawer, or it was like things disgusting? Disgusting. Okay.
Disgusting completely. So, like, I definitely relate. Growing up, I related to these kids, man. I tried to start my own fucking Monster Club, Monster Squad multiple times. Everybody thought I was stupid. But that's okay. The voices in my head made a nice amount of people for a club. But anyway,
yeah.
But
this is turning into a really sad story, Chuck. It's like your whole childhood. I can see you in the treehouse by yourself, talking to yourself, getting all.
I didn't even have a treehouse.
Hanging out in your dad's shed.
Actually, I used to hang out in my dad's 2-truck garage playing with machetes.
That sounds right.
Fair enough. I can see that's where the voices came in.
So. Right. And that's probably why I don't even know what my own voice is these days. But yeah, these kids that go off and they like. There's so many characters in this movie. Like, I'm gonna jump all over the fucking place here because we've been doing that this whole time anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. The characters in this fucking movie, there's so many ones that we haven't even mentioned either. You got the scary German guy who ends up being like the nice guy who like ends up pretty much like saving the day. Who they never really talk about it, but he has the numbers on his arm like he was, you know, a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
Usually the German guy isn't the one that's the Holocaust survivor. Usually it's the Jewish one, but I could be wrong.
German Jews.
Yeah.
German Jews. Yeah, that's why I was like, why is that confusing?
Yeah. I thought that was a really
I'm not
brilliant piece of writing, actually.
I don't know. I didn't even like the numbers didn't even seem right because there was like letters and everything in there too. I don't think they.
Well, they
It
didn't
wasn't-
tattoo like pictures on them. It was like,
No, but it was
serial
just
number,
numbers though,
basically.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was.
remember there being letters. I don't know. I guess I haven't looked into the Holocaust enough.
Someone
at
who
all.
knows, email us. We need to know.
Right.
Please.
If
I mean,
any
it-
of the listeners are Holocaust survivors,
No.
please
Well,
let
he
us
talks-
know.
In that
So it's
scene, he
the-
talks about monsters and he's like, man, you know a lot about monsters. He goes, yes, I certainly do, or whatever. And that's when he shows
Yeah.
it. So I think
Yeah.
it's implied.
Sure.
But it's also great character development, understanding why he doesn't trust people
Mhm.
and keeps to himself.
Yeah.
But I also personally really like that's kind of reminiscent of like the Witch in the Woods kind of a deal, even though it's a male figure, like
Mhm.
having
Oh, sure.
that keeping away from society because society doesn't understand me, but is not necessarily evil.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess I got the whole kind of like Hellboy vibe, like okay, Holocaust thing. Then my head goes instantly Hitler and paranormal stuff, which is probably not where anybody else's head goes. So I was thinking monsters. He might have been thinking about real monsters, but I'm probably wrong.
But
It's a good mix of both.
going back to sorry.
Yeah.
But going back to other characters in this film that are kind of left out is also the three cheerleaders who Dracula turns into these pretty evil satanic vampire babes.
Does Dracula just
I've-
have nightgowns lying around?
Does he have what?
Nightgowns.
Oh, I don't know. That's actually I never even thought about that. It's like where do they get that? from?
wardrobe change?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
He should just left him there.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I growing up, those three chicks, it really, because the time when I saw it, first getting into the opposite sex and all that stuff, and seeing these chicks for some reason, I don't know, it's always stuck with me. Vampire girls, like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. One of my first impressions of like as a young guy going through puberty was really liking my vampire movies. It's like
Whoa.
like I said something about it earlier, but like Dracula Dead and Loving It did it perfect. There was always the 90s, the very, very busty women. Then that's just how they rolled with it. But I definitely remember being a young guy being very obsessed with those kind of movies for that reason.
I remember wanting them to bite me. I was like, I don't want Dracula to bite me, but they can do it. And then, I moved from Monster Squad to the Satanic Rites of Dracula pretty quickly in that time period. But what else is there? There's what are some of the other characters that don't really get mentioned? Because there's so many. I mean, there really is a lot of good characters in this movie. Like everybody. Oh, of course, you got the sister of the one guy in the crew. Which is actually it's really funny because the whole thing is like he or that they're needing a virgin and they think she's a virgin, and then when things don't go the way it should, he's like, what do you mean kind of a virgin? Like, so what do you mean you don't know?
Yeah, that's
What makes you wonder what is she? It makes you wonder what is she talking about?
Doing it in the butt, probably.
That's that or oral. Yeah.
Right.
That's where all the virgins go.
well when you.
Just the tip with Steve, first time, not that great.
I feel
Just
like
the
if
tip
she did
doesn't
do
count.
that,
Yeah, you just don't care.
it should count then, though. But like, I don't know.
In Vanquishing the Dead, it does, but it doesn't count socially.
Right. Well, I'm agreeing with you. It doesn't count socially. I'm agreeing though that it should not also count for the dead. Like, I feel like virginity is pretty clear on what that is, and if they're going with oral or anal on it, like it's different. Like, it should be acceptable. She should have been able to take Dracula all the way out.
They didn't mention. I mean, if there was penetration, I'm assuming that there was penetration, and she just didn't think it was worth.
Or they could be, or they could be just like, okay, he was in and then out real quick, and she's like, I don't really count it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's a much more satisfying ending, I think, to have the little sister be the one to like do the spell.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It gives that whole turnaround too, from them being like really mean to her to the end being like their loving family.
But they also blackmailed that teenage girl. Being their token virgin with a picture that Frankie took of her while she was changing. That's pretty fucked up.
Well, Rudy was
argue sexual semantics.
Rudy was doing some photography as well.
Rudy was watching. He was keeping a close eye. Yeah, he was. Which you can't. I mean, going back. I mean, like I said, back and forth in this, you can't forget about when you first meet Rudy, because Horace, fat kid, is being picked on by. I can't remember this guy's name, but he was in a bunch of like TV shows and movies in the 80s and shit. But they're picking on him, and poor Horace has a candy bar, and the guy knocks it out and steps on it. And then Rudy just comes in, and he's like, "Hey, you forgot your candy bar." And he's like, come on, Rudy. And he's like, "Eat it up. We'll call it a day." I was just thought he was just the coolest motherfucker growing up, man. Like, I really did. I'd ride around on my on my bicycle with my glasses, thinking I was cool. I still wear my sunglasses, thinking I'm Rudy, but.
Yeah, I really liked the relationship that the Monster Squad kids did have with each other, because Rudy liked those guys. He wasn't just like, "No, man, I'm too cool for your little club." Like, he was there for them. He was their friend.
Yeah. Which is weird, because in school, that kind of guy wouldn't want to be a part of a monster club.
No. Right? Like I think they became friends. Like Rudy really liked them probably like 3/4 of the way through the movie, but I strongly think that Rudy started to be their friend just to watch the girl from the treehouse.
I think that's what it became.
Yeah, it might have started that way, but then it ended up with true friendship.
Right, like even while he's taking the monster test and everything, he's like half paying attention to them and like only to the kid's sister. Like, that's it. Like,
you can't forget about the montage of when they're making all the weapons and stuff.
So good. Yes. So
like,
good.
It's great. Do your stuff. I mean, it was great. It was great. I almost forgot about that, because like as a kid, I always liked that stuff. Like, even like in Silver Bullet, where it shows them going and then it shows the guy melting down the silver necklace. Same thing with this. You have Rudy, and he's like, carving out stuff in shop class, which you would not be able to get away with that. Okay. I got away with making a fucking pipe when I was in school, but fucking steaks. I mean, that's got to be a little noticeable. And then also the making of the Silver Bullet.
Didn't care.
Maybe the 80s. Yeah,
it was definitely 80s. People did not care.
Everybody was on coke. Okay, they were all on coke, and they were listening to bad music. All right,
you could still hit other people's children if they irritated you, or whatever.
You could still do that.
It's much more frowned upon.
It's just
yeah.
But I'm saying, like, there's nothing out there like physically stopping you. You can go around and beat all the kids you want up. But like,
there's one. Get out of my way.
Stop crying.
Fuck you, asshole.
Right?
You don't know.
That's where you're calling a 5-year-old a bitch, right there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh. Little off topic.
And I actively screamed when the mother opened up her silverware. And it was gone, and we're like, no. And
the mom just kind of looked at it and said, huh. I'm like, what do you mean, huh? Do you know how expensive that shit is? You're just like, I don't know where that went. All right.
See, when they were doing that scene, I was like, that is not going to work. Forks are made out of stainless steel.
Right. And then she showed the silver, and we're both.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, fine.
That is The type of
It was
show
in the script, okay?
our generation will
Yeah.
never ever own.
No, it's a fork. I don't want to spend that much money.
No,
Real
And then you have
silverware
to
is really
polish it.
expensive.
The only fork that I wish I could have ever bought was when they were doing Jeffrey Dahmer's silverware out at auction.
Sure.
No.
Yeah, years
Would you
ago,
look
years
at it,
ago.
Or would you just frame it?
I would actually have it sitting on my table for whenever I have guests over, and whoever was the lucky one to use that one would be also the lucky one to use the toilet first.
You would let people use it? Like, that's a little sick.
I mean, it's
Like-
still a useful item.
Yeah,
I
but I
mean,
feel
yeah.
like
So why not?
like if you look at like all right, for instance, like a vintage gun, all right, that vintage gun is going to be worth a lot more money non-restored in regular condition. So washing it and having other people touch it, it kind of like, like at the beginning you have Dahmer fucking DNA all over it, and now it's gone. So
Well,
I
that's
feel
not
like
the only DNA you got all over it, isn't it?
right. I suggest framing it like I did my Ed Gein pictures that I bought.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
They're different. I'm gonna say the wife's not a
Mhm.
fan of like pictures of eyelids, but
The
I mean-
insides- can you expand?
all right.
You have questions?
Ed Gein is the serial killer that Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah.
Psycho. All right, all those
Yeah.
are based off of,
Yeah.
huh?
Wasn't a
Well, he
serial
wasn't
killer.
really a serial killer. No,
He killed.
No,
He
he
killed
was
two
definitely
people
a
and
serial
Two.
killer.
he killed two
dug up a
people and
few
mutilated
others.
15 corpses.
Yeah.
well, he
Really
had
like
fun
that.
with them. It's only mutilation.
Upwards of one is a serial killer.
No. 3.
3,
I'm making a joke.
Oh, okay.
right?
There's,
Well,
there's
yeah,
a whole
there's-
definition of what a serial killer is, but
Yeah.
Right,
From all
right.
accounts, totally.
But
he was
like I guess
guy.
at the time though, they took a lot of pictures of the crime scene. Like you had people tied up, strung up, cut from private parts through up to like their neck.
there was
And,
one woman hanging in the barn who was cut up like a pig. Her head
Yeah.
was cut off
This
and
is
she was
taking
drained,
time.
and her blood was drained to a bucket.
there
And then
were-
he made
nipples
different.
sewn together, things like that, and
He made a belt full made of nipples, and
Clipped eyelid.
lampshades. Yeah, like I mean a bunch.
I want to know more about the eyelid. Your wife would
well,
take
like-
offense to pictures of eyelids.
well, the thing is that it's a box that's opened up, and all the eyelids are clipped off of the people.
That's different.
Oh, a box of eyelids.
That's a box of eyelids. She
Oh.
wants to see a picture of, not just pictures of eyelids.
Well, where else would you keep your eyelids?
I guess a box is
On
the
your
most
face?
efficient way to store it.
Put them on my face, please.
It just
Really
reminds me of what was it?
Well, I
Foster's,
keep
like,
mine.
They had his foreskin in a scrapbook.
Ugh, gross.
No. Anyone else a
That
Ben
seems
Stiller
like a good
fan?
thought.
Because I am.
I've seen that movie. I don't remember that.
Yeah. It gets dropped in the fondue.
Where
Yeah.
it belongs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're preferably still on your body, but if it's already detached, yeah, might as well throw it in the fondue.
Gross.
Some people say
Yum.
gross, but some people like that salty flavor.
No comment.
No.
Okay, back to Monster Squad.
Oh yeah, what happened in that movie?
I don't
We're
know.
talking about dead scrotums. Anyway,
This isn't a adult
Um,
show.
we're a bunch of kids. We
Yeah.
just look like adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
That's okay though. Which is another reason why I still love this movie so much. One thing that I really like about it though, well, I keep saying one thing. There's a bunch, obviously, because I haven't shut up. But when Dracula makes it known that he goes to Sean's house and he has the dynamite and he blows up the clubhouse, and he goes to the house and ends up blowing up the car with the dad's partner, and
And
the
nobody
mom runs
cares.
out. Yeah, he's like, ah, and boom. You're like, oh no, and then that's all. That nobody really cares. Well, they're more worried about the kids. Okay, so that's that. But the mom comes out and she's just like, what's going on? Like, and that's when you're like, I don't know, like he's in complete dad mode, and I love that because he just goes full force, and he's like, I got to stop this shit. And also where he blows up Wolfman, and then Wolfman comes back together again.
Yeah.
I've never seen that done in a movie, and that's pretty fucking wicked.
That really was.
Yeah.
And then there's only one way to kill a werewolf. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought for sure there was multiple ways.
Okay. Where is this story supposed to take place? Because we could not figure it out.
Like what state?
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it's supposed to take place. We know that they had to have been in Transylvania in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but,
because the
where
stone
do the
is
kids live?
there. Well, that's the messed up part, though, is because they get the stone wherever the kids are.
Yeah.
The amulet.
Mhm.
So that means the beginning of the movie has to take place in their hometown, which would make sense because they get Van Helsing's notebook or whatever. So that was from an empty house or whatever in the area. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then there's a swamp that Frankenstein falls into. I thought it was the Amazon.
Could have been Louisiana.
Or, yeah.
There we go.
I was actually wondering that.
Unless they traveled a lot.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just skip the travel montage.
Yeah.
Right.
Stopping
Maybe
at a
the
gas
swamp
station.
scene actually happened at a zoo, and they could have been any city.
Sorry.
No, you're
Just letting the montage take you.
I was gonna say, unless I missed it, they also don't explain why they're moving Frankenstein's monster.
No,
Why did they all
really
have to
don't.
come together?
Well, Dracula brought them all together, and that was like that part is for sure. That's the reasoning there is Dracula is wanting to rule the world and bring everybody together to pretty much take over the world. So
He wants to come together. He wants everybody to come together.
yes, and I don't know. It's weird that he picks favorites and only wants to fuck Frankenstein, though.
Isn't it rude?
It really is. The creature deserves some attention.
Oh, look at that
He really-
face.
It's
Right.
so
He
good.
really did look badass. I mean, he
Yeah.
really did.
Right.
Yeah.
He almost has the predator mouth,
Almost. He has that look.
which makes sense with Shane Black and Fred Decker both working on the Predator. So
Yeah.
I definitely could see that and everything. But wow, do you have anything else that you would like to add to this before we take a commercial break and get back to what each of us thought individually about this? That was
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I thought you were asking.
Too many people in the room.
Bogus. No, I have nothing to say at this moment.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a couple of moments.
Excellent.
Oh yes, it's Ladies Fright. We tell spooky stories and try to figure out what about them makes them so scary.
Using personal anecdotes, psychology, and sociology, Lauren, Maggie, and Jackie dive into urban legends, ghost stories, and other tales that give us a good fright.
'Cause this is Ladies Fright.
Oh, what a fright.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you like the Tales from the Crypt? Do you love the Tales from the Crypt? Even if you've never seen an episode, this podcast is for you. I'm Melissa, your ghostess with the mostest, and host of the Good Evening Kitties podcast. Each week, I break down another great episode from the TV series The Tales from the Crypt. Audio clips are included, so even if you haven't watched that episode, you're good to go. There are also special guests, trivia, mini movie reviews, and much more. What are you waiting for? Check out the Good Evening Kitties podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. That's the Good Evening Kitties podcast. Check it out today.
Hello, this is the Sasquatch, aka Bigfoot, but you can just call me Frank. And when I'm not stomping around the woods throwing rocks at hunters, I like to listen to the Paranormal Punchers podcast. That's right, Paranormal Punchers. They talk about all things paranormal, and they're hilarious. Go find them on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and ParanormalPunchers.com.
Everything about our food is changing. The way we cook it, the way we eat it, and the way we share it. And that's why I'm encouraging you to come and check out Pardon My Fork. Conveniently packaged in hour-long episodes and available anywhere you find your favorite podcasts and at PardonMyFork.com. We are talking to home cooks, chefs, Food Network stars, and world food champions. So cleanse your palate and come and get a heaping helping of Pardon My Fork.
Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. We are the world's greatest electroshock band, we destroy monsters, we drink booze, and we win championship belts. If you're not listening to Trick or Treat Radio, here's a taste of what you've been missing.
There's 3 guarantees in life. What are they? Death, taxes, and Trick or Treat Radio every Friday morning.
This is one of the most convoluted movies I've ever seen in my life.
I'm fucking trying, man.
Hi.
Oh yeah. Hey. Oh yeah.
It's like you took a shit on a pile of shit.
But you shit on him for liking what he likes.
Yeah, well, it's my job.
This podcast is now banned in Germany.
It's me, Giovanni Lombardo Radici.
Shut up. I call bullshit. I demand someone to bring me the face of Lindsay Lohan.
If I had genitals, I would definitely bang her.
Oh, wait. She's a great big fan person.
You just hit the jackpot.
This is a weird movie, huh?
It had action, it had suspense, it had great characters, it had great acting.
I'm going to strangle you with my jockey shorts.
I don't like mobster movies.
All right, well, here's my take. You're a sick fuck.
Thank you. Now shut the fuck up and let me talk.
Have you ever seen 2001?
The box, right? The box and the monkey.
Available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and trickortreatradio.com.
Arrivederci, douchebag.
Greetings! We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
He's right. We wax philosophic about lots of geeky crap like old video games and movies, toys, cartoons. I don't know, help me out here.
Music, pants, quoting video games that don't have dialogues, shabibers, tasty news,
Unnecessarily long Japanese onomatopoeia.
butt breathers, uncomfortable nature facts,
or how to install a thermoflash.
And unlike all those other podcasts, we at Retro Reductopus have an exciting rotating host schedule.
Do we? We sure do.
So, if you didn't like the guy flapping his gums this week,
like me,
worry not, gentle listener. Next week, we'll have a whole new host.
A problem.
Hey, they might still suck, but they'll suck differently.
And you know what's really cool? Retro Reductopus is part of the Dorkening and Inebriar podcast networks, with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
Which is like every other Tuesday. We named it.
Anyways, you can listen to us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or any podcast player cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all things that made growing up awesome.
And welcome back to this episode of Two Guys, One Crypt. We are here with our special guest for this amazing episode, the girls of Ladies Fright Podcast. We got Lauren, Maggie, and Jackie with us still. Luckily, none of them left on the commercial break. So we're not as bad as people think.
Man, also, real quick, in the opening, sorry that I totally spaced out on your all's
It's okay.
name. All right, it happens.
It's okay.
Look, we're best
It's not
friends.
like
How
it's
could we
written
do
underneath
this
their
show?
pictures.
We met in the hallway.
Oh God.
Not multiple times.
We
Fuck
had
you,
a connection.
I thought what we had was.
I think you're all pretty cool.
I just wanted to be your friend.
Well, to be fair, I've done 99% of the communication, so probably. Well, I guess 100%. I was just trying to give Chuck a little bit. It's okay. So, before we go ahead and start closing this off, why don't we go ahead and talk individually just a little bit about what we all thought about this film. So, why don't we go ahead and since we already pretty much heard from Chuck, I guess, Chuck, why don't you go ahead and start us off real quick and then give us your rating 1 through 10 on this movie and what you thought about it.
Oh shit, man. I mean, I got to give this movie, if I was going to rate it 1 through 10, I'd probably give it an 8, 8.5. I don't know. I almost want to give it a 10 just because I love it so much. Fuck it. I'm giving it a 10. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 10 because, I mean, I love this movie like I've stated over and over again that it's a piece of my childhood. It's something that I've been able to share with my kids, and they've enjoyed it just as much. Had the same reactions to different scenes, including the end when Frankie goes and everybody cries at that, and then she throws the teddy bear. But it's a damn good movie. It mixes all of our favorite Universal monsters in one, mixed with a little bit of Goonies, and it makes for one hell of a watch, and it never gets boring. Love this film. Like I said, I think I'm going to give it a fucking 10.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Why don't we go ahead and go to Maggie now and see what you thought about this?
I'm gonna say an 8. I was a little confused if it was sex positive or not with Frankie's relationship with the exploitation of a young man.
That means a lot to us here.
No, I did really like it. As I said, I had never heard of this movie before, but I do feel like I'm going to add it to our Halloween repertoire that we usually watch. Even though it stuck to classic versions of things, I really enjoyed the new breath of life it had in some of these monsters and giving people a reason to kind of be scared of them, especially children. I also really enjoyed the kind of nod at the end when Helsing just gives a thumbs up. I love the uncharacteristic things the monsters do as well as the heroes do. As I said before, Dracula punching someone in the face, Helsing giving a thumbs up. It felt contemporary, if that makes sense. Or am I just using words?
You completely hit it. I really liked how you thought about that. Like that's pretty much nails every point. Good luck anybody following that.
No pressure.
Right. So why don't we go ahead and go to Jackie? What did you think about this one?
It was a really fun movie. I would highly recommend it to other people. And while watching it, time just passed me by. I'm a quitter when it comes to movies. If I'm not into it, I just straight up won't finish it. So that means a lot to me. I would definitely say 9 out of 10. It's a lot of fun, and I'm a sucker for a cast of children that act like children and act like people. I feel like whenever there's a kid in a movie, they're a prop, but these kids really were just going along with their lives, and it was fantastic.
Very well said. And Lauren, why don't we go ahead and get to you and see what you thought about this one?
All right. I'm going to rate this one a 9. I really enjoyed this movie. I was surprised at how much I actually liked it. It was like, so it hit all of the check boxes for me in like your classic 80s film. It has the montage. It's got, all the sex and like kids behaving badly, all that stuff. It was great. I also really was impressed by the creature designs and the makeup. I thought those were really well done too. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
Fair enough. Me myself, I'm gonna have to give it a 9 as well. This was all around a fun movie. This is a childhood favorite of mine. I'm actually kind of surprised that this is a first viewing for some people. It's definitely one of those that's, I guess, more of a classic. Yes, and a good friend of mine, Ron Pertee. I think it's great that this is co-written by the same guy who wrote Lethal Weapon. Yes, Shane Black. Shane Black did write Lethal Weapon, Last Action Hero, and already mentioned The Predator as well. But he's yeah, definitely. I think it's a little bit more impressive that, Fred Decker did the writing for this as well, considering, he did House and RoboCop 3, which are some of the greatest movies of all time, as everybody knows.
Personally loved.
Yeah, that's on my Halloween watch list every year.
Right. I don't care what anybody says. If you want to look at the best special effects done of all time, it's the jetpack scene in RoboCop 3. It is. Oh no!
Part 2 is the best.
Is it part 2?
No. I'm just saying part 2 is the best. Part 3 is the one with the ninja guy, and then part 2 is the one with like the drugs.
What do you have against ninjas?
RoboCop versus ninjas.
What do you have against ninjas?
Nothing. I just don't really care that much.
I think the ninjas are really, really, really cool, man. I don't really care. But overall, like I said, this is a 9. This hits every spot. It's an amazing all-around film. I can't say anything bad about it. I love the concept of taking the Universal monsters and throwing them together in something, and it's just all around fun. It's a good family movie. I think Chuck said it very, very well when it's like Universal Monsters meets Goonies. That is 100% what it is. That is for sure. And yes, it did.
Also, I'd like to think that this traumatic experience fixed the marriage.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We
did something to bring them together.
We did joke about only coming on here and only focusing on the marriage. When we were
It started off heavy.
Well, it was a big part of it and everything, and I really wish they kind of would have like actually talked about it a little bit more. Like at least give us the idea of like, did it fix the issue? But
probably
not. No.
As a child of divorce, and I'm currently going through a divorce, definitely not, because they didn't speak about it. Just things happened around them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So one thing that's kind of crazy is like, well, not like crazy, but something we haven't talked about. We didn't really mention that much. So we got to mention it real quick. Is the fact that Wolfman's got nards. That whole scene. Kick him in the nards. Kick him in the nards. Does Wolfman have nards?
Nards. He's a humanoid.
And there's actually a documentary out about Monster Squad called Wolfman Has Nards.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to actually see.
That scene alone has it's been all over. They got shirts for it and everything. we're RoboCop fans, damn it. In fact, I guess just to be that guy, I want to sit here and let everybody at least see what I'm talking about with the.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh God, you guys are gonna love this. At least I hope so. You probably won't, but you can pretend. Right. Best special effects ever.
I mean,
fly with me.
It's such a better job on this than they did on Superman.
For the time, I guess.
It's great for all time.
Yeah.
So there, I finally was able to incorporate the RoboCop jetpack scene into an episode.
You know what? I'm glad we could do that for you.
To be fair, I've been talking about the RoboCop jetpack since episode 2. So I love that this has become two guys, one RoboCop.
My other favorite part of this movie was Pete the dog.
Yeah.
Very well trained dog.
Oh, definitely.
And Eugene, he was a cutie patootie.
Maggie taught her dog how to, what was it? Go team?
Join the club.
Join the team. So we'll put our hands down, and then the dog puts his paw on top and go, join the team.
He goes,
that's awesome.
Because of that movie.
Nice.
Yeah. It was great.
All right. So we've all went around. We've talked about this movie. We talked about pretty much every little aspect of it and what we thought about it. So
and more.
Yes.
So much
more than you bargained for.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you're watching this show, it's exactly what you bargained for. So before we go ahead and wrap up things, why don't you girls tell us a little bit about your show and where everybody can find you and release dates, etc. Plug the fucking hell out of yourselves.
All right. Well, we if you want to talk to us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're not very good at Twitter, but we have one. We have a Gmail. If you want to send us an email, ladiesfright@gmail.com. If you want to listen, we're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Anchor. Let's see. And we usually post every other Wednesday, but sometimes we'll post more if we have like extra stuff we want to do. But usually we're out on Wednesdays.
And we have
That's
our Halloween
awesome.
party coming
Oh,
up.
yes.
That starts, I just took my calendar away. that starts the Monday of Halloween week, and it ends on the 31st. So we have 5 episodes coming out with all of our special guests. And come join us for a party, a good social distancing party.
Yes, the 25th of October is our Halloween party begins.
That's very, very cool. I'm very excited to see what you girls have going on with that. I've like I said, I've been going through your episodes, and like obviously, as we all know, it takes time to listen to them all. You guys got more than you can listen to in a couple of days, so But I'm very similar to the way Jackie is. If I don't like something, I tune out. So the fact that I've already listened to 4 episodes and still going is, you know what I mean? Like it's something I'm going to listen to. It's right up my alley. I love it. I can't suggest it enough. So everybody, please go check out Ladies Fright on iTunes. I know they're on Stitcher. I'm sure they're probably on every catcher out there.
So I will also just say, the episode you listened to with the Camp Slashers, we actually had a friend on there named Joe, and he does another podcast called The Planet of the Apes. So if you're into that, he also does that.
I own every one of them, including the old ones. I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fan, and I did write down the name of his show too, so I could check it out.
Have him on here too. Clearly, he loves horror and he's funny.
Yeah. I'm just a huge fan of Planet of the Apes. That's enough for me. It doesn't take much to win me over, damn it.
I got to be honest. I haven't had a chance to check out your old show, but I'm going to definitely. And I'm also, you're going to get like random emails from me that just say things like Wolfman has nards.
Yes.
Okay. No one talks to us. We want people to talk to us. No one will yet. So we'll take them.
Okay, awesome.
I feel you. In fact, talking about talking to people, which sounds really stupid the way I said that. But we actually recently have a phone number now, so people can call in and leave their voicemails for either Two Guys One Crypt or the Tales from the Podcast show. So feel free to go over to the Tales from the Podcast page. And on there is the phone number, which I'm kind of slowly stalling as I bring it up so I could say the phone number and not sound like an asshole.
I'll make you not sound like an asshole. So everyone, please call the following number and say, Wolfman has nards.
You got a good voice for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I should probably hire you to do all of our commercials. Our phone number is actually a local phone number of mine, so hopefully people don't care about that. But it's 419-469-5172. So feel free, call in, leave voicemails. Even if it's something stupid, I'll probably still play it because fuck it. But so come on, check it out, guys. Listen to it. And obviously, please go check out Ladies Fright Podcast, where all podcasts are found. And do you girls have anything else to add to this before we go ahead and wrap up?
It's been great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a happy Halloween. Stay safe.
Happy Halloween, and glad you all were able to come on, man. This has been a real fun episode.
It definitely has. Really good time. For sure. Well, feel free to stay down below for a moment when I go ahead and wrap this up. But Chuck, do you have anything that you want to add before I go close this off?
Bogus.
There you guys have it. So with that being said, the crypt is closed.